And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. Temperature finally over freezing, but don't get too comfortable because it's going to get cold again over the weekend. I'm big time cold. It's me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement. It's the fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. And we have a special guest, couple of special guests today. 2:30, it's Wednesday. We always talk to Mike Lupica. And at 1:30 on Monday, we spoke to the manager of the New York Yankees. And today at 1:30, we will talk to the manager of the New York Mets, and that is Carlos Mendoza. So please stay tuned to hear what Carlos has to say about the upcoming season. So much stuff to do, so much stuff to talk about. The Knicks have made it 7 in a row as they win yesterday against the Wizards, but we will start with the Giant, or should I say the Jets, signing a new offensive coordinator, and that is Frank Reich. And I like this signing for this reason. There's an adult in the room. This guy has done it before. He's done it at the college level. He's done it as a pretty successful head coach at the NFL level. He is going to know exactly what Aaron Glenn is going to need. And I think it's a perfect situation for the Jets. They get an experienced guy who's joining a place that might not have long-term viability, and you might say, why? Well, after Reich got fired the last time in the NFL, he actually was the interim head coach for Stanford football last year for Andrew Luck, and actually did a pretty good job, but he wants to get back into the NFL. This is his entree into the NFL. So he does this, and even if it's a terrible year, maybe the offense improves incrementally. Obviously, they need a quarterback, and he's looked at differently in the NFL again and could still get another job in the NFL, even if a guy like Aaron Glenn lasts only one more year. And maybe Glenn has such a rough time of it, Frank Reich ends up being in the perfect place at the perfect time and gets himself the interim job with the New York Jets. Again, getting ahead of ourselves, but getting a guy like Reich is important. You're getting a guy who's been there, done that, has played quarterback in the NFL, has played quarterback at a high level at Maryland as well. So this guy knows what he's doing. Now, it's funny. You could hire an offensive coordinator. You could hire the best mechanic in the world. And if you got a jalopy, it's a jalopy. The mechanic's only going to be able to do so much with it. Only so much. And that's going to be problematic. How do they fix this? You could have Sean McVay be the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets. You could have Liam Cohen be the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets. You could have Andy Reid take a step down from head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs and be the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets. And with the quarterbacks that they presently have on their roster, they're not going to be able to do all that much more than was done last year. Justin Fields is not your quarterback next year. He's just not. How could he be? So they've got to go out and find themselves a quarterback. Whether they draft that quarterback, I don't think there's going to be a quarterback that's worthy of the number 2 pick in the draft. I don't think that guy exists. So they're going to have to go make a trade. Whether it's Murray, whether it's bringing in a veteran guy, not quite sure. That's how Frank Reich is going to make this offense click. You need the igniter, and the igniter is the quarterback. You can't do anything without a good quarterback in the NFL. So I don't care how good Frank Reich is. There might have been some big-time NFL offensive coordinator types that said, I don't want this job. I don't even know who the quarterback's going to be. How can I be an offensive coordinator? Again, perfect situation for Reich. Wants to get back in the NFL and gets back. Now let's see what he could do with what Darren Muji gives him. It's got to be better than Justin Fields. It just has to be. So now both offensive coordinators in New York, that's filled. Nagy with the Giants, Frank Reich with the Jets. Both veteran guys, both have been around, both have coached in the league. I like the hire for the Jets, I do. Is it one of these young, innovative guys? No. But you're not getting that guy to come to the Jets. Not with the coaching staff in flux from last year. Not with what, although it's the second year of a 5-year deal, you could look at Aaron Glenn and say, well, he's a lame duck. I'm not going there. They got themselves a quality football mind. That's all you could ask for. It's not an epic fail on their part. They got themselves a credible guy who knows how to run an NFL offense, who's called plays in an NFL offense. So I like it. Does this mean that the Jets are going to win 12 games next year? No. You need talent. But at least they have the coordinator in place. And although they have a coordinator in place on the defensive side, that's essentially going to be Aaron Glenn calling all the plays defensively. And he has enough faith in a veteran like Reich that he's going to handle it the right way. So congratulations to the Jets getting that important hire out of the way. Now, while we're on the subject of football, I don't know why I did it. Maybe because the Knicks game and the Net game were both blowouts at the time. I mean, the Knicks blew out the Wizards. And although the final score was under 20-point difference in the Net game, the Lakers, they were embarrassing the Nets until they took the foot off the accelerator. So I turned to ESPN to see the Pro Bowl. I can't say it's unwatchable. That was the word that I was going to grasp for. But it comes down to this. You could watch it. You could be entertained because guys are goofing around playing flag football. Offensive linemen are catching touchdowns. All of that's great. Jamar Chase is playing defense and a one-handed pickoff and ran it back for a touchdown. All of that's kind of fun to watch, but it's nothing that even approximates football. Nothing. And I guarantee, I don't know if we're going to have it today, I guarantee you that it got a decent rating because football for the American public is like crack. It's like crack. People can't not watch. They can't. They've got to view it. If it has anything to do with the NFL, they're going to watch. And even college is that way. I mean, look at the big number that the college national championship game got. Football is like crack to the American public. And I'm going to tell you another little secret. And I don't mean to get political. And this is not a political statement. It's a calling out of BS. So there is a segment of our population that's not happy about Bad Bunny performing the halftime show of the Super Bowl. Okay. Maybe Bad Bunny's not your cup of tea. But there's also a segment of that segment that said if the NFL doesn't remove Bad Bunny as a halftime show, we're going to boycott. We're not going to watch the Super Bowl. No, you're not. No, you're not. These same people said this many years about other things about the NFL. If you don't do this, if you don't do that, we're not watching football. Amazingly, football ratings continue to soar. So if all the people that say that they're so disgusted that Bad Bunny is going to be the halftime show, if they don't watch the Super Bowl, then it's not going to get record ratings, right? I bet you it gets record ratings. Now, you don't have to watch Bad Bunny. You don't. I know TP USA has their own halftime show that they're doing with Kid Rock as a headliner. What's that? Why would you punish yourself and not watch a football game that the entire world is going to be watching because you don't like the NFL's choice of their halftime guest? Again, I am not straying into any political discourse. It's not what I'm doing. I'm just straying into, I think people are full of it because you can't turn away from football. You can't. No matter how much you might dislike the players, no matter how much kneeling bothers you, whatever the case may be, you're obviously not turning away. You're just not. You could threaten it. And for those that are threatening, unless the NFL pulls Bad Bunny, they're not. Under no circumstance. The NFL knows that the president is not pleased with the halftime show, and they're not pulling Bad Bunny. And Bad Bunny is an international star. Now, do I know all of his music? No. I have no idea about his music. But am I going to let my displeasure, and I'm not saying I have displeasure about Bad Bunny, I'm open to watching anything. Am I going to let my displeasure make me not watch the game? Of course not. So those that are threatening it, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Let's see it show up in the ratings. Because Bad Bunny ain't going anywhere. Bad Bunny is going to be performing the halftime show on Sunday. So if you don't like it, don't watch the halftime show. That doesn't mean you're not going to watch the game. It doesn't mean that. I don't believe you. And if you're one of the people that is disgusted by Mr. Bunny, I guess that's how you would formally say his name, by Mr. Bunny performing the halftime show, please call in and convince me that you're not going to watch the game. Convince me. I won't believe you. You could try your best. Maybe you'll make a compelling argument, but I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And I don't believe the Knicks are going to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think there's too much heavy lifting in order for them to do it. I think it's going to be a situation where they'd have to break up this team, and you would be removing this season as one of the seasons where you could get to the NBA Finals. Do you want Antetokounmpo? Of course you do. Do you want him at the trade deadline by tomorrow? Yeah, you'd love to if you didn't have to give up a king's ransom. And if you're the Bucks, the only way you're going to trade this guy is for king's ransom. You know, they ran into this problem once before, and they were forced to trade Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who won a championship with Oscar Robertson with the Bucks, and just said Milwaukee is not my kind of town for, you know, my tastes and my love of the arts and stuff like that. And, you know, it's not me. So I'd like to get out. So they trade him to the Lakers, and they got 4 players back, and 2 of the players they got back, Winters and Bridgman, both have their numbers retired by the Bucks. But it did put the Bucks in a situation where they weren't relevant until Giannis came around. They got close, but they never won a championship until Giannis came around. And that's why, to this point, I would say that if I owned the Bucks, I'd sit down Giannis and go, listen, you got another year left on your contract. You're going to play here because we're going to try to build around you. And they have tried. He can't sit there and say that they have not tried to make him happy. The Turner signing, releasing Lillard after acquiring Lillard for him, trading Drew Holiday, who ended up getting back to the Celtics and helping them win a championship. They've moved heaven and earth to make Giannis happy. And Giannis wants it both ways. He doesn't want to be a bad guy. He said the other day, you know, my daughter was born in Milwaukee. My dad is buried in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I love this place. Well, if you love it, then stay there. And if you don't love it, and if Milwaukee has to worry about the Milwaukee Bucks, Milwaukee should say, no, we're not trading you. You'll play out your contract. We'll offer you a max deal. Let's see you turn it down. That means he's got at least the rest of this year and next year, and then a player option after that to stay there. But I don't think that teams are strong enough to combat players like that. They're just not. They're not strong enough. And they will trade him. And there's supposedly a pretty good deal the Warriors are offering, that Minnesota is offering, Miami's in. I don't know if the Knicks are in. If I'm the Knicks, they just won 7 in a row. Now, it's going to be a good game tonight, a good litmus game tonight with Detroit against the Knicks. Oh, not Detroit, Denver against the Knicks. That'll be at the Garden, and Jokic is back. So I'm going to be interested to see how they play against the top-level teams. If you look at this 7-game winning streak, they did beat the Sixers, who had been playing well. They tried to give it away at the end. The other games have been absolute blowouts. 54 points the Nets. Yesterday, about 30 points. They have not played the cream of the crop. But that I have no problem with that. You're supposed to beat up on bad teams. That's what they've done. Now it's a little bit tougher of a situation. You got Denver tonight. And let's see how it goes after that. Denver tonight. Then you go to the Pistons on February 6th. February 8th, it's going to be at Boston to play the Celtics. Then back in New York on February 10th, the Pacers come to town, so that's an easy one. And then another tough one on the 11th, you go to Philly again to meet the Sixers. Let's see where the Knicks are there. But I'm not making a big deal. Now, do I want to trade Gershon Yabusele? Yeah, if I could. If I could get some capital back or whatever, I would do that, sure. But am I trading OG Anunoby and Cat? I'm not. I'm not doing it. So I don't think that the Knicks are foolish enough to say we don't want to have Giannis on our team, but I think they want him on the team during the offseason where they could build a team. Because even if they make a trade, and you should try to move heaven and earth to get Giannis during the offseason, or if you're a team that doesn't have a chance to win a title. You can't tell me that the Knicks don't have a chance to win a title. They at least have a chance to win the Eastern Conference title. Then you get to the NBA Finals and you don't know what's going to happen. Most people are saying, well, we can't see anybody beating OKC. You know, if Halliburton didn't get hurt in the 7th game last year, Indiana might have beaten OKC. So nobody is invincible. Just get me to the dance. Like in baseball. No, he's going to beat the Dodgers. Get me to the World Series. Let me see if I can beat the Dodgers. You build your team to win your league or your conference to get to the finals of the World Series or the Stanley Cup finals. That's what you do. Or the Super Bowl. And then you take your chance in that game or that series. And right now, this Knicks team, as presently constructed, are good enough to win the East. And they're fortunate because it looks like the favorites to try to get Giannis right now would be Minnesota or Golden State. Again, worry about them when the finals come about. Now, if Daryl Morey ends up working some of his magic and gets him for the Sixers, that would scare me. That would scare me a little bit. If the Celtics got him, that would frighten me. But I don't think that those guys are in play. So I think what the Knicks have to hope for is that the Bucks are not blown away by any offer and they don't trade him and they wait till the offseason when people could offer more. You could offer more draft picks once the season's over. You could offer draft picks that you know exactly where they are after the lottery. So a team that's holding a very small chance of winning the lottery might get the 2nd or 3rd pick. Get lucky like Dallas did last year. All of a sudden, they have a bigger piece of the pie to throw the way of the Bucks to convince them to trade him. It does not behoove the Bucks to trade Giannis now. And the only leverage that Giannis has, the Bucks want to tank. They want to lose. They want to get the best lottery pick they could get. And Giannis could say, you don't trade me, I'm coming back, and I'm playing, and we're going to win games. We're going to win games. And you're not going to have as many ping pong balls. But I think they're bad enough that they're still going to be in the lottery. And the lottery is really, really, really deep. I mean, there are people that are saying that this NBA draft could go 12 to 15 deep in terms of players that could make a difference. And maybe, just maybe, that Milwaukee holds on to him, gets lucky in the lottery, gets this otherworldly player. Maybe they get AJ DeBanza. And Giannis goes, well, maybe I'll stick around. There's no urgency for the Bucks to do it. The only leverage that Giannis has is to threaten to come back and play and win more games for them. Okay, fine. And now Giannis also has to think, do I want to come back after my 2nd calf injury this year and blow out my Achilles, or should I just sit out the rest of the year? He's a competitor. He's going to want to be on the court. So if a deal is made, I don't think it's going to be made to the Knicks. And if you're a Knicks fan and you want this guy, and I understand why you would, I hope you understand why they wouldn't do it. Because it doesn't make sense now. Because if he's truly hurt with the calf injury, you're not going to get him back. If you make the trade tomorrow, right at the deadline, you're probably not going to get him back for another couple of weeks. So let's say that takes you to the last week of February. Then you've got March and whatever's left at the beginning of April to get this team ready to make a run to win 16 games. I don't think it's that easy. Because all of a sudden, you're going to put Giannis Antetokounmpo on the court. He's ball dominant. Brunson's ball dominant. And they're going to have to change the way they do everything. And they might be missing another big time, not just Cat. Because to pull off that deal, it could be OG. It could be Hart, who hurt his ankle again yesterday. I don't think the Knicks would blink at trading Mikal Bridges. So if the price of doing this deal is Cat and Bridges, then I would do it. But I don't think that's enough. Because the Knicks are going to have to trade a guy like OG in order to get the draft capital. And they're going to have to trade Cat to other teams to get the draft capital. I'm not sure that they're willing to do it or able to do it with this short of time. They're probably working on it, but you heard James Dolan the last time he spoke. He thought they had enough here. We're not going to be chasing the new shiny object. Now, if you're going to chase a shiny object, the one to chase would be Giannis. But not now. Do it during the offseason. Move heaven and earth to get it done during the offseason. That's when you do it. Not anytime sooner. Doesn't make sense. Why break up a team that probably will not have an opportunity to win a championship, even though you're getting the best player available? To me, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe it does to you. I'd like to hear from you. But coming up in just a moment, we're going to talk to the manager of the New York Mets, Carlos Mendoza. I'm really, really excited to talk to Mendy, see exactly what he's thinking, how he wants to configure his lineup, if he's concerned about the defense at the corners, what's he going to do in left field. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk to him about because this is a completely different team than the one that he managed last year to 83 wins. They have completely blown it up. They've gotten better up the middle. Lindor's at short, Simeon's at second, Robert up the middle. They got a number one starter in Peralta. They made big moves, and I like the moves that they made. Is it enough? Well, you don't need to hear it from me. You'll hear it from the Met manager in just a moment, so please stay tuned for that. Hey, last call for football, and all week long, FanDuel is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Today's 30% profit boost is on the receiving markets, receiving yards over under, alt receiving yards, and most receiving yards. Will Seattle continue to get JSN the ball? Can Stephon Diggs find room to work? All you have to do is opt in each day and place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. 21 plus, physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Let me get that right. Profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Wednesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Can the Knicks make it 8 in a row when they host the Nuggets?
Just everybody being on the same page, being together, being on one string and stepping up for each other. It's great to see.
How far can this team go this season if they keep this roster? Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Think switching to T-Mobile's a whole complicated thing? Nah, it's easy. You can do it almost anywhere in just 15 minutes.
Even poolside like Drewski, you can switch to T-Mobile and unlock savings that are built to last. With T-Mobile's Better Value Plan, you can save over $1,000 a year versus Verizon and AT&T. Save on streaming, satellite, and more benefits that they leave out.
Now I get all the VIP perks.
Start saving from day one, and for a limited time, get T-Mobile's Better Value Plan.
I know you love deals.
Plus, switch right now, and we'll even pay off your old phone up to $800. What do you think of all that, Drewski?
Stay chillin', just switch it. It's better over here.
Check the math at T-Mobile.com/BetterValue. Savings versus comparable plans at AT&T and Verizon, plus the cost of optional benefits. Plan features and taxes and fees vary. With 3+ lines of Better Value Plan. 3+ new lines and 2 eligible ports, or 3+ lines and 5+ years on T-Mobile postpaid plan required. Qualifying credit required. Check out in 15 minutes or less per line. Get up to $800 per line via virtual prepaid card. Typically takes 15 days after rebate submission. Qualifying unlocked device, credit, service, ported, 90+ days with device and eligible carrier, and timely redemption required. No cash access and card expires in 6 months. Card issued by Sunrise Banks N.A. member FDIC.
March the 20th of 2026, there's one place to be. And that place is Pickleball Heaven. Pickleball Heaven. It's a pickleball facility, massive facility in Medford, New York. We're going to do the show there that day from 6 to 10. Then there's a tournament. And then after we win the tournament, Rick, we'll stay and watch some basketball with the people. Now, the worst part of all this is the name. Listen, I got to participate in Rickleball Madness. What do you want from me?
You're a teammate of Rickleball. Though.
Yeah, right. You're part of the event. You're the co-headliner. If my name was Dave Pickleball, it would still be Rickleball Madness.
I think that's accurate.
I don't want this kind of pressure. I would prefer it be named after you.
No, you don't. You want all the shine.
No, I don't. Call whatever you want.
Dave's Pickleball Extravaganza.
Sorry, Dave. We're still calling it Rickleball Madness. And it's Friday, March 20th at Pickleball Heaven in Medford, New York. More details coming soon with DiPietro and Rothenberg on ESPN New York.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
This is DiPietro and Rothenberg.
The Knicks believe in this team. That could end up being an excellent assessment, or that could end up being a mistake.
Even if you like this team, would you like it better with Giannis?
Do you believe this team is good enough to win 4 playoff series? If that answer is no, then you should probably look into this.
And if you don't make the move now, he's going to get traded, and then there goes Giannis.
The Knicks, with their words and actions, I don't think we're headed in that direction right now.
Are you trying to win a championship, or are you trying to be a pretty good team?
Morning Start with DiPietro and Rothenberg. Weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Hi, this is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. I've talked about how a construction accident took my father's leg. The heavy prosthetic he wore looked nothing like the high-tech limbs we have today. It was crude wood and metal, held together by bolts that dug into his skin and left painful ulcers. But the thing I remember about my dad is how he never complained. He put on his prosthetic leg and he went to work. He coached my baseball teams, danced, sang karaoke, and even loved to travel. He may have limped, but he always held his head up high and he lived with dignity. At D'Agostino & Associates, I spent over 35 years building a law firm that helps accident victims and those in need of their Social Security disability benefits. We fight till our clients get the money and dignity they deserve. So call us today at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey. So don't tell me personal injuries aren't personal. I know what they can cost a family. I've been there, and I'll be there for you. D'Agostino Law. Bite back.
Progressive knows there are 2 things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a time out to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering 25% off windows and doors and 0% APR for 24 months. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends February 28th, 2026.
Welcome back to the show. It's 1:30 here in New York City, and both teams, Yankees and the Mets, many of them are already down in their spring training sites, and it's a good opportunity for us to talk to a good friend, a great guy, and he's done a really good job with the New York Mets, entering his third season with them. That's Carlos Mendoza, the Met manager, and he joins us now. Carlos, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Michael. How you doing?
I'm doing all right as well. So how do you feel about this team as they start to get together in Port St. Lucie?
Yeah, I feel very good, to be honest with you. A lot of work, a lot of different faces here. Everyone knows, especially with the way our off-season unfolded. But again, I'm excited and can't wait to get to Port St. Lucie.
How long, Carlos, I know how competitive you are. How long did it take you to get over last year? That's not what you expected. That's not what the organization expected or the fan base. How long did it take you to shake that 83-win season?
Yeah, it took me a while, but I kept myself very busy because we had to make so many difficult decisions, starting with our coaching staff. So, right away, you had a lot of time to reflect and a lot of the things that we could have done better and things like that, but it was back to business, like it was already our mindset on 2026 right away. But yeah, it wasn't easy first month, I want to say, but again, we kept ourselves busy.
Now, you mentioned the coaching changes, and there were several. How difficult is that for you? Because you were on the other side. You're a coach for a manager, and you serve at his discretion. How tough was it to make some of those changes, Carlos?
Super tough. They are extremely difficult decisions, not only, because they were great coaches, but the relationships you create with these guys, you are together for a couple of years, and then you go through a year that the one we had, and we knew we needed to make some tough decisions, and the coaching staff was very difficult. I sat down with David, and we started going back and forth, and, some of the areas that we felt that we needed to improve or a new voice, and, as everyone saw it, they were pretty drastic changes, but I'm also excited about the new coaching staff that is put in place. But again, I think I said it a couple of weeks ago, probably one of the toughest times of my career, whether as a player, as a coach, at any level, and definitely as a manager, when you are letting so many good people go.
All right, so you mentioned there's a lot of new faces that you have down in spring training. Do you worry about chemistry being established? And some of you guys are going to play in the WBC, which takes away some time from chemistry building. But is that something that's important to you and that you have to work with this year?
Yeah, of course it's important. I think it's important for every manager. And when, like you mentioned, and like I said, when you have so many new faces, it's going to take some time, But there's a lot of veterans, guys that have been around the game for a long time. Some of them that, whether they've been in playoff, World Series, or won a World Series. So that will help. But it's going to take some time. It's definitely going to be a priority of ours, me as a manager, for us as a coaching staff. But again, having the understanding that these guys have been there, they've done that, and they know what it takes. It's going to take a little bit of time. And probably until you get to the regular season, right now you get to spring training, you got 60-something players in that locker room. And then once you trim it down to what is going to be the 26 that we're going to take north, that's when, you kind of see it start unfolding. But again, it's going to be a priority of ours once we get to Port St. Lucie.
All right, so obviously, you didn't have the year you wanted last year, and the second half was particularly difficult. And then at the end of the year, it comes out, well, the clubhouse, there might have been some clicks that they didn't get along. The funny thing is, Carlos, like as of June 15th, I guess everybody thought it was a great clubhouse. So there are very few people in this game I respect more than you to tell me the truth. What was the deal with the clubhouse? Did you think it was an issue last year as it was unfolding?
It's funny that you say that because I felt the same way. I remember people telling us or telling me before or after games, it's like, man, the vibes are unbelievable when we had the best record in baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, man, there's great guys, good chemistry. And then, everything started going down south. We started losing. It was hard for us to win games. We started losing players, and it wasn't easy. The problem for me was that we didn't shake hands at the end of the game enough. And when that happens, then it becomes more of like, I said it again not too long ago, it became like a corporate clubhouse. Not that guys didn't like each other. They respected each other. They got along. It's just, it was hard to find that formula, to be honest with you. We couldn't put it together on the field, whether it was the defense, whether it was the pitching, the offense at times with runners in scoring position. And, when you keep falling short night after night, you come back to the locker room and it's just like, man, like we were close. And then, okay, we'll get him tomorrow. And then you show up the next day and it's pretty much, you go through your routine and things like that. You go to hitters meeting, pitchers meeting, you go through your preparation, and then 7 o'clock hits and, you lose again. And, that kind of carries a little bit of a weight on you. And I think because it happened, I don't want to say fast, but for some reason we just didn't click. But that locker room, guys respected each other. They got along well. We didn't get the results we wanted to.
Now, the key, and we're talking about Carlos Mendoza, the manager of the Mets, the key, I would think, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, you have two magnificent superstar players in Lindor and Soto. And, I'm not in that room, so I only can believe what I read, and it's that those two didn't get along, that they're not the same sort of guy. A, is that true? And B, if it's true, is that an issue, again, because those are your two big stars?
They get along. You're right. They're different. And I said it not too long ago. There are completely different personalities. One is very outgoing, where everybody sees their smile, whether it's on the field or we see it behind closed door. And the other one is super businesslike, very meticulous about his preparation, about his routine, and he's a lot of times he keeps it to himself, and at the beginning, he took him a while to get used to the environment, or whether it was like, man, like I'm the guy here now. I don't know. We all saw it, but then Juan became himself, and a lot of it was made maybe because they're both Latin, maybe they're both superstar. People thought that they were going to be best friends. I don't know if you want to call it, but we don't need to. We don't need those guys to be best friends. We want them to be themselves, and that's what happened here. And I feel it's just completely two different personalities. They respect each other, and they want the same thing, which is to win a World Series. They are committed to it, but as far as like they don't like each other, I'm going to call that a BS.
Good enough. Now, one of the things that David Stern said at the end of the year was he wanted to improve run prevention. And, boy, you got a great center fielder in Luis Robert Jr. He can get it with anybody. Simeon is a Gold Glove winner. You know what Francisco Lindor is. But I'm wondering who's playing left field for you right now, and who do you feel good about the corners, guys that have not played those positions yet at first and third?
Yeah, like you mentioned, we feel really good about our defense up the middle, and we are also excited with the opportunity that we're giving Bo to play third base, Jorge Polanco, a combination of Jorge Polanco, Marv Vientos, and Brett Beatty at first base. And then, Brett is going to be one of those guys that are going to be moving around a lot. We're asking him to play left field, a position that he played in the minor leagues a little bit couple of years ago. Carson Bench is going to get a real opportunity here. He's going to have to earn it, but that's another prospect that we are very excited about. This is a guy that can go get it before we trade it for Louis Robert. we were thinking about playing him in center field. That's how comfortable we feel with him playing defensively at any spot in the outfield. And then we got Soto in right. So not to mention we got Tyrone Taylor, an elite defender at any position in the outfield. So again, with Robert up the middle, now we feel good with the options that we got with Beatty, with Bench, Taylor, and Soto in the outfield.
Does Bench have an opportunity to win the everyday job in left? Is he going to battle Beatty for that in spring training?
Yeah, we feel like they are going to be at bat for these guys. There's a competition, obviously, but with the versatility that Brett Beatty provides, whether it's a first, second, third, and now we're asking him to get some reps in the outfield as well. We could see here a lot of at-bats for a lot of different guys. You got Polanco, who's going to DH play first base. Vientos is on that mix too. So there's a lot of different ways that we could go here. But, again, there's going to be a healthy competition, and, performance matters. But we feel good with the pieces that we got.
Now, Bichette obviously is an unbelievable hitter, Carlos. He was a shortstop by trade with Toronto, played second base last year in the World Series. What makes you think he could play third? What attributes does he have that make you think, okay, he could do the job there?
Yeah, look, I mean, anytime you have a shortstop moving off that position, I think that transition becomes a little bit easier. They're good athletes. We like the arm. We like the makeup. We like the work ethic. And we feel pretty comfortable that he's going to be able to make that jump. It's probably going to take some time with him to get used to seeing the ball from a different angle, but he's used to be on the left side of the infield. So, again, watching him not too long ago take ground balls, I'm pretty comfortable and confident that he's going to be able to make that transition. Good hands. I know the defensive metrics at shortstop didn't like him as much, but we feel good to the fact that we have a guy that is coming up as a shortstop now. We got him at third base.
All right. Who is he going to bat, in front of Soto or behind him?
That's a good question. People keep asking me about it. The good thing is I have really good options on two really good hitters. Mm-hmm. Not to mention we got Lindor there too. That is as of right now, going to be hitting at the top of the lineup. But if you ask me right now, it's February 4th. I'd probably be inclined to go Lindor, Soto, and then Bo hitting behind Soto. Soto is an on-base machine, and we know the numbers with runners in scoring position or runners on base from Bo throughout his career. So, like I said, a lot can change from now and opening day. There's a lot of conversations that I need to have with players, but as of right now, like I said, I'm probably leaning that way.
I'll tell you what, that's a pretty good first inning, Carlos. It's a good way to get on the board right away. Those top three is pretty good for any starting pitcher to have to deal with.
That's right. Like I said, I like the fact that you got a switch hitter, you got a lefty that can hit lefties too, mm-hmm. and you got Bo that can hit lefties and righties, and not to mention you got two guys that get on base for a guy that is pretty good. He's been pretty good throughout his career with runners on base. You feel good about your chances, and then what's behind those guys? We are excited. I'm excited. There's versatility. There's balance, whether it's switch hitters with Polanco, right, left, whether it's Vientos, Beatty, Semien, Bench, Alvarez. There's a lot of different ways I could go here when I'm making out that lineup, but I like the versatility, guys that put the ball in play, like I said, the switch hitting, the lefty-righty version. I think that I'm excited about that.
All right, how big an acquisition was Peralta? I mean, you essentially acquired your opening day pitcher in all likelihood.
Yeah, it was huge, and not a secret for everyone out there that saw us. The second half of the year, we struggled to get length out of our starting pitching, and adding a guy like that to what we feel good with what we have already in camp, is a huge addition. A guy that is used to pitching front of that rotation, experience, playoff experience. A guy that is super familiar with a front office, whether it's David Stearns or Eduardo Brizuela, because of their previous experience with him with the Brewers, guy that they saw all the way from the minors reach to the big leagues. And what I keep hearing from a lot of different people is we all know the type of arms, the type of pitcher, right? But I think the quality of the person, and you could feel it. I could feel it right away as soon as that trade went down when I got on the phone with him. And, the past couple of days, he's been already in Port St. Lucie making those relationships, and the reports that I'm getting is this guy is legit. So it was a huge addition, Michael, not going to lie.
Now, I looked at your schedule. You've got stretches at the beginning of the year, which is unusual. The schedule maker didn't do you any favors where there aren't days off. Are you leaning toward going with a six-man rotation at the beginning?
I laugh because every time we talk about our six-man, I feel like since I've been in D.C.,
right.
We keep talking about six-man rotation. I don't think we've done that maybe once. Always something happened. But we do have some we have an off day right after the opening. But you're right. I mean, we got 8 out of the gate and then an off day and then another 9. Again, we feel good with the options that we got, but we got long ways to go. If we need to go that route, we'll make some adjustments. But again, a lot can happen between now and opening day, and by the time we start playing those many games in a row.
All right, your bullpen's completely different, and I would think, I don't know if you'd want to admit it, losing Edwin Diaz could be a blow. I mean, he was a great relief pitcher, and you pivoted by getting Devin Williams and Luke Weaver. How do you feel about your bullpen?
Feels really good. Again, losing Edwin, was tough. But, by the time he made that decision, we had Devin on board, a guy that is a proven closer. He's had so many great years. Last year wasn't easy for him at the beginning, as you probably saw on a daily basis, but then he kind of figured it out and was a lot better for the Yankees. And we feel good with him and another guy on Weaver, a guy that you're pretty familiar as well, Mm-hmm. But again, losing Edwin wasn't an easy one, but I'm glad that we were able to bring guys that are used to pitching in high leverage. They're used to pitching in New York. They know what it takes. They know what's at stake. And I'm excited about that as well.
Carlos Mendoza is our guest. Before I let you go, Carlos, do you feel more pressure this year because last year you guys didn't make the playoffs? I know nobody puts more pressure on you than you because you want to be great. But do you feel outside pressure as well after last year?
There's always pressure, Michael. I feel like I'm going to go back to my first spring training as a manager, where they were apparently to the outside noise, low expectation. There's always high expectations in New York. There's always pressure. And the way I see it is we have a really good opportunity in front of us to achieve something special, which is to bring a title to Queens. I feel good. I'm excited about the team. I'm excited about the roster. I'm excited about the depth. And that's what kind of gets me going every day. Talking about pressure, it's New York, Michael. You know how that goes. And you just have to embrace it. We have an owner that is willing to do whatever it takes to achieve the ultimate goal, and you have to appreciate that. So for me, that's how I approach it every day, and that's how I will continue to do it.
Well, I wish you only the best. You're one of my favorite people in baseball. I think you're going to do great. I think obviously the Mets made some really, really impressive moves during the offseason, and I'm sure you'll make it all work together. Thank you so much for coming on, Carlos.
I appreciate you having me, Michael, and I will see you soon.
All right, absolutely. That's Carlos Mendoza. He is the Mets manager, and it's a different team, but it's a much better team than last year. Different, but much better. Because at what point do you pull the plug on what wasn't working? And they decided this was a year that they were just going to redo it. No Alonso, no McNeil, no Nimmo. Now, the Diaz thing, I don't think that was by plan. I think they lost Diaz. They wanted to keep him. But I think their pivot was great. And it wasn't a pivot. I think that was the plan. Their pivot for the bullpen, we'll see how that works out. But I don't think they wanted to have McNeil. I think they were hoping to trade Nimmo's owner's contract. And Alonso, I guess they would have kept if he was going to agree to a 3-year deal, but that he was never going to agree to that. So, and they wanted him to be primarily a DH. So they did what they had to do. Let's see how it works out. I look at them and I go, this team is presently constructed, probably a 90.5 win team, 91 win team, and that should be enough to win the East. And then, you worry about the Dodgers when you play the Dodgers, in the postseason. Your thoughts on what you just heard the manager say. I've cleared the lines. I want to hear from you now. 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. So a lot to talk about. Mike Lupica is going to join us a little bit later on at 2:30. So stick around. The K-Show rolls until 3 right here on ESPN New York.
This is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
This thing with Giannis sounds like something could happen.
The Knicks are in the catbird seat. I would call his bluff if I'm the Knicks. Hey, we're here. We'd love to have you, but it's going to be on our terms. We're not disrupting our season. We've just won 4 in a row. We believe we've got a team good enough to challenge in the East and get to a final. We'd love to have you, but we're going to have you during the summer.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Weekdays at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is making every moment of Super Bowl 60 count with DraftKings Live Millions, featuring over $5 million in prizes. Here's how it works. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and get your promo token. Place a live bet of $1 or more on the Super Bowl, and you're in. And every live bet means another shot to win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WHSQ. That's code WHSQ. Bet live for your share of $5 million in prizes with code WHSQ. In partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY and 467-369. 21 and over. New York only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Minimum odds minus 500. Prizes either bonus bets or single use 20% profit boost. Max bet $20 that expire in 30 days. See official rules at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for entry period and free method of entry. Sponsored by Crown Gaming Inc.
Knicks fans, it's time for basketball. The action starts tonight at Pig Beach with Team ESPN New York and Ultra. Whether you need a pregame spot or you're looking for the right Knicks bar to watch the game versus the Nuggets, Pig Beach is your destination. The party tips off at 7 p.m. Team ESPN will be giving away plenty of ESPN, Ultra, and Knicks prizes. Join fellow Knicks fans tonight at 3537 36th Street, ground floor in Astoria. Cheer on your Knicks, enjoy Ultra draft and bottle specials, and cool prizes all game long at Pig Beach in Astoria.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
My name's Brian Windhurst, and I've seen a lot of good offense in my life. If you're looking to initiate some offense of your own against your high-interest credit card debt, I'm letting you know a SoFi personal loan might be the play. A SoFi personal loan could be quite the triple threat with low fixed rates, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. View your rate for a SoFi personal loan at SoFi.com/offense. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply at SoFi.com/offense. NMLS 696891.
Step inside the game you love with the NBA app. Tap to watch every game as it's happening.
Jalen Brunson does it again!
And never miss a moment of the jaw-dropping action. Get closer to the players than anywhere else. Follow the latest schedules, scores, and stats. Keep up with every story from across the league. And with NBA ID, it's all personalized to you. The game lives here. Download today.
Hey, Game Time brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m., the Knicks host the Nuggets at Madison Square Garden. Can't wait to watch that one. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. right here on 880 ESPN. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Now, before we get to some phone calls, the Dallas Mavericks have just traded Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards. 4 players, 2 first-round draft picks, and 3 second-round draft picks. We'll talk about that at the top of the hour, but he wasn't even a Maverick for, well, I guess the trade was made on February 2nd. So it was a Maverick for a year and 2 days. Nico Harrison did some job. 1-800-919-3776. We started off today with Mike in Plattsburgh. Michael?
How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Regular caller here. I just wanted something really quick. Like I heard that interview there with Mendoza. That was really good. And not just him, but any ex-player from any team. Like, do you think that it hurts them to go from another team to another team, unless they're a fan of that team when they're growing up? Because I've been a Yankee fan all my life. I can't imagine going from a bench coach to the Mets and still not loving the Yankees. I want to hear you talk about that.
Well, I think, Mike, that a lot, and we thank you for the phone call, these guys realize it's a business. I think you've got to put your fandom away. I don't think Carlos Mendoza would rather be the manager of the Mets than the bench coach of anybody. Even though he came up through the Yankee system and he had a great relationship with Boone, you're thinking like a fan because you don't earn your living in the game. But if you earned your living in the game, it's all about, upward mobility and reaching the heights that you dreamed of. So I don't think that's an issue. I mean, would Ben Affleck have a hard time being traded to the Yankees? Yeah, because he's not a baseball player. He's a fan of the Red Sox. But if you're a baseball player, you shake it off and get over it. Fans feel that fanaticism. I think there's a certain attraction for players to certain teams, but they realize that it is a business. When your usefulness is over for the team, they'll get rid of you. So if you trade it to another team, you just make it work. Steven in Massapequa. Steven.
Michael, what an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
And I am telling you this as a diehard Mets fan. But you are my guy. You are my radio guy to listen to every afternoon.
Thank you.
I am pumped up to listen to Mike Lupica, by the way. I have been reading him since I was a kid, Daily News, and forever as long. What a great guy. But the reason why my call is, and I've never called you before, but you had Mendoza on. I have to imagine you guys had a relationship when he was a coach for the Yankees.
Yes.
What a great guy. And I just, I wanted to call because, again, diehard Mets fan, and a lot of the Mets and even some of the radio personalities, won't name names, have been so adamant about how they wanted to win with their guys. And, I get that from a fan, but at some point you got to be realistic. And every Met fan that I know, and I try to have that level head, guys, I love Pete. I met Nimmo. My kid met Nimmo in spring training, loved him to death. But when we take a look at the age 31, 32, for so many players, and I've gone back and looked at Tom Seaver and Mike Piazza, Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols, when you get that 31, 32 age, I mean, it's hard to argue that it's just the players start to decline. And we have a Wall Street trader, tycoon, a guy who plays markets. At some point, he was going to get knowledgeable about the fact that these contracts just don't work out. And I just think as the Mets, Mets fans, we loved Pete, we loved Nimmo, our guys. But I can't hear, I'd rather lose with my guy.
Well,
you got to go with
Steven,
the fact
it comes down to this, okay? There's no way you'd rather lose with your guy than win with others. So I can understand you rather win with your guy, but David Stearns made the decision he's not winning with that team. That team has never won. He wanted to break up the team when he first got the job. But then they ended up fooling everybody and went to the Game 6 of the NLCS against the Dodgers, so he was forced to keep them together another year. And I don't think, you're worried about people aging because he signed Soto to a 15-year contract. That's going to take him through, his age 41 season. And he signed Lindor to a 10-year contract. That's going to take him well past the point of being an effective shortstop, you would think. I mean, people do get old in an era where there supposedly aren't any PDs anymore. But I don't think he got rid of those players because of their age. He got rid of those players because he didn't like those players. He didn't like those players. He didn't like Nimmo. He didn't think he was a good defender in left field. The fact that he had an 8-year contract that he could unload on somebody, because if you're worried about age, he traded Nimmo for 35, 36-year-old second baseman. So I think he made moves to get players he liked. He wasn't worried about age. Players he liked. He didn't like McNeil. He did like Diaz. That's the one that's a head-scratcher why they let him go. But, the crux of your point, Steven, you want to win with your guys. Yeah, you want to win with your guys. But the Mets made the decision they weren't going to win with that team. They weren't winning with those guys. So they'd rather win with other guys than lose with their guys. And, yeah, fans have an attraction to players. That's the beauty of sports. But Jerry Seinfeld said it best a couple of decades ago, you really end up rooting for the laundry. I mean, anybody who puts on the Met uniform, if you're a Met fan, you're going to root for them. And maybe you'll have a soft spot in your heart for the Orioles with Pete Alonso there, but you're going to root for Jorge Polanco to do a great job at first base. So I don't buy that. Yeah, there's going to be initial hurt, but if the Mets go out and have a great season this year, they'll all be forgotten. They'll all be forgotten. Hey, Knicks fans, join Bart Scott and Chris Carlin for a special Knicks watch party on Thursday, February 19th at Taramore, 150 West 30th Street. That's starting at 7 p.m. Watch the Knicks take on the Pistons in Detroit in a huge Eastern Conference matchup with Wild Turkey Bourbon specials, great prizes, and awesome vibes all night. You'll also have chances to win Knicks tickets and enter Wild Turkey Bourbon's ultimate New York game day experience this April. Join Bart and Carlin at Taramore, Thursday, February 19th. Tip-off is 7:30 p.m. Brought to you by Wild Turkey Bourbon. When you know it's right, don't change a damn thing. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy Wild Turkey responsibly. We'll be back with your phone calls and Mike Lupica in just a moment right here on The K Show, ESPN New York.
ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
Wednesday with Don Hahn and Rosenberg. Can the Knicks make it 8 in a row when they host the Nuggets?
Just everybody being on the same page, being together, being on one string and stepping up for each other. It's great to see.
How far can this team go this season if they keep this roster? Don Hahn and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Last call for football, and all week long, FanDuel is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Today's 30% profit boost is on the receiving markets. Receiving yards over, under, alt receiving yards, and most receiving yards. Now, it's hard to bet against Jackson Smith and Jigba for over receiving yards, but maybe you're a Cardi B fan like me and you want to rock with Stephon Diggs for most receiving yards. All you have to do is opt in each day and place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're looking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel's giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. 21 and over, physically present in New York, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com for all with a gambling problem. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY, text HOPE-NY 467-369.
This is Bart and Carlin on ESPN New York.
With the Jets ending up with Brian Duker, this feels like the couple that were friends back in the day, and they say, listen, if neither one of us is married in 25 years, let's get married.
How much do they expect Jet fans to take? We thought that organization would be taken seriously if they got two great coordinators.
Wrong. Bart Scott, Chris Carlin, weekdays at 10 a.m. on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Rich Eisen here. As you all know, I care deeply about pediatric cancer research and awareness. That's why I'm proud to talk about Hyundai Hope on Wheels. For over 27 years, every Hyundai sold has helped fund life-saving pediatric cancer research. Together with over 850 dealers nationwide, they've raised more than $277 million, supporting over 25,000 kids in their fight against cancer. At Hyundai, hope isn't optional. It comes standard. Visit HyundaiUSA.com and search Hyundai Hope on Wheels to learn more.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying... just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Welcome back to the show. We told you that the Mavericks have traded Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards. And the Mavericks get back 4 players. None of them great players. Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malcolm Braham, and Marvin Bagley III. They also get back 2 first-round draft picks and 3 second-round draft picks. So, first of all, I'm not sure what the Wizards need Anthony Davis for. Maybe they turn around and send him somewhere else. But this shows you how ridiculous, short-sighted, and moronic the deal was that the Mavericks made with the Lakers for Luka Doncic. And that's why Nico Harrison is out of a job and probably will not be rehired in any kind of general manager job in the NBA ever again. You trade Luka Doncic, who, according to how you view the game, is either the best, the second best, or the third best player in the league. He's incredible talent. Does he have negativity in his game? Sure he does. All the best players do. The better the player, the fewer the negatives. But Luka Doncic is the real deal and was a young player. And Nico Harrison traded him for Anthony Davis and 1 first-round draft pick. Essentially for nothing. For nothing. And to show you how bad a deal it was, the Mavericks turned around and traded Anthony Davis, who's hurt, who's always hurt, and is older, much older than Luka, and not near the player that Luka is. And they got 2 first-round draft picks, 3 second-round draft picks, and 4 players. If Nico Harrison, for some reason, dealing with a brain cramp that only he can explain, needed to get rid of Luka Doncic, he could have gotten a treasure trove of picks. And the Mavericks would be in a much better spot than they are right now. Consider that the Knicks gave up 5 first-round draft picks for Mikal Bridges. 5. Look at the haul that Utah got from Cleveland in that deal. Look at the haul that Utah got in the Rudy Gobert deal with Minnesota. And all of those are really good players. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, really good players. All NBA-type players. They ain't Luka Doncic. And he got 1 first-round draft pick. And you guys know, if you listen to this show, I've been on almost a quarter of a century, that I never asked for somebody to lose their job. But Harrison's deal was a fireable offense. It made no sense then. It makes less sense now. And when you look at the haul they got back for Anthony Davis, an ailing player who can't stay healthy, and the Wizards draft picks are more valuable than the Lakers draft picks. And they got 2 first-rounders and 3 second-rounders. And players that they could spin and trade somewhere else. And they could probably spin and trade. The Wizards could end up trading Anthony Davis too, which I think is what they're going to do. But for some reason, he only wanted to make that trade with the Lakers. I hope there's no conspiracy theory that's going to come out a long time from now that the NBA wanted Luka in the LA market. Because LA always ends up with those players. Ended up with Kobe in that trade. They ended up with Shaq in that trade. They ended up with Kareem in that trade. On and on and on and on we go. And now they ended up with Luka. And if it was they actually had a second first-round draft pick that Nico Harrison allowed them to keep. He allowed them to keep Austin Reeves. At that point, when he traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers, he could have asked for everybody but LeBron. And the Lakers might have thought about it. They got away scot-free for one of the best players in the world. And that's why Nico Harrison had to have a special tunnel built at the Mavericks arena so he could get out without having to deal with the crowds. He had to have security around him at all time. He was the public enemy number one. So make it make sense. How does that deal look now? And it wasn't Nico who did it. Nico got fired. Nico didn't last a year. The trade was made on February 2nd of 2025. And on February 4th of 2026, the main return for Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, is in Washington and a member of the Wizards. A lot of drama in the NBA. A lot of big deals made. We didn't even get a chance to talk about James Harden going to Cleveland. And it makes Cleveland better because they're a little bit bigger in the backcourt. So then you have James Harden, who's having a good year, averaging about 26 points. And you team him up with Donovan Mitchell, and they got a lot of other talent as well. That could be a big piece of the puzzle for the Cavaliers. James Harden, though, how many times do you to ask out of somewhere? And like he lauded the Clippers for not making him be the bad guy. You are the bad guy. You're the guy who always asks out. Always. You asked out of Houston. You asked out of Brooklyn. You asked out of the Clippers. This is home for you. You live in L.A., but they wouldn't give you the 2-year, $80 million extension that you wanted. But because he's so gosh darn talented, he gets away with it. Because there's always going to be a team that's going to want James Harden. And for a while there, when Harden and Kyrie and Durant were playing together, you know what? That was a team that could win a championship. They're 2-0 on the Bucks. And then Harden got hurt and Kyrie got hurt. And then Kevin Durant's foot was maybe a half inch too big, turning a 3-pointer into a 2-pointer. You know all the story. But it's just a lot of drama, a lot of movement in the NBA right now. And waiting to pounce on Giannis is Minnesota and Golden State and Miami. And maybe on the outside looking in the Knicks. But Brian Windhorst was on our show last Friday, said he just doesn't think the Knicks are that interested right now. Maybe that could change. We'll see. But the latest one, Anthony Davis to Washington for draft picks and players. So I wanted to talk about this before we get to Lupica at 2:30, because I'm sure he's going to have something to say about it as well. It was announced today that, the once prestigious Washington Post is being whittled down to nothing. They're firing almost the entire staff. No longer going to be book reviews, things like that. And they're getting rid of the sports staff. And the sports staff of the Washington Post was one of the sports staff that you dream about being a part of if you were a writer. Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon, Dave Kindred, John Feinstein, Sally Jenkins, Thomas Boswell, just to name a few. And with one stroke of the pen, Jeff Bezos decides he's going to change the Washington Post. And I don't get it. Now, most newspapers lose money, especially those that really haven't figured out paywalls in the internet and things like that. You look at the New York Times, they figured it out. Looks like the Post might have figured it out, although I don't think the Post makes money. And that would be my comparison if I was talking to Bezos. You are much richer than Rupert Murdoch. I mean, there are very few people in the world that have more money than you. And I don't get in people's pockets. You started from nothing and you turned Amazon into a behemoth. You're one of the richest men in the world. You bought the Washington Post. And you wonder why you bought the Washington Post. And you probably bought it so you could have a seat at the table, a position of power. Because if you own a big newspapers still move the needles politically. And you want it to be at the table. And you kind of acquiesce to a lot of the demands of the people that were in power. And because of that, you lost a lot of subscribers to the Washington Post because they didn't want to read that side. And that's a problem with our society, too. Everybody wants to read their own side. They don't want to read about the other side. What I would like is a newspaper that gave you both sides. So you really knew what was going on. Not everything slanted. So because of your stance that you took, you lost a lot of people that didn't want to hear it. So they canceled their subscription. And the Washington Post then became a money-losing proposition. But what is money losing to Jeff Bezos? Let's be outrageous here and say he lost $500 million a year. And I think that's way more than he lost. That's literally the money he has in his ashtray in one of his rockets. So why don't you do the right thing, Jeff, and sell it to somebody who wants to run it like a real newspaper and keep the prestige of the Washington Post alive? Washington Post is one of the biggest newspapers in the world, and you just cut the cubes off of it today to save money, to go into the new millennium and do things differently. You got rid of a sports section? Who does that bother politically? You couldn't afford to pay these sports writers? Again, Rupert Murdoch doesn't make the money that you make. He's not as close to as wealthy as you. He's kept the New York Post afloat for years because he realizes the power that it gives him politically in the greatest city in the world. And he doubles down and just opens the California Post. I mean, when's the last time you saw anybody start a newspaper in this environment as newspapers are dying? I mean, look at the Daily News here in New York. It was one of the biggest newspapers in the world. Used to have a daily circulation over 2 million. Now it's tiny and thin, and it's nothing, and has nowhere near the power that it used to because it was bought by a hedge fund that only wants to make money. And listen, you should want to make money in your business, but when you're Jeff Bezos, do you have to make money with the Washington Post? Or are you just trying to curry favor with certain people? It's disgraceful what Bezos has done to an important part of our country. I mean, when he bought the paper, part of the masthead was democracy dies in darkness. Well, it also dies when you fire all the writers on your staff. He should be embarrassed. A guy who is nearly a trillionaire is cutting money from a newspaper because it's losing money. The money that it loses, and I'm just guessing now, he probably makes on December 15th with the packages he delivers for Christmas. One day for Amazon probably makes, and I think I'm being very, very conservative there. I mean, how does he look in the mirror? To destroy an American institution. And forget about everything else, the book review. Most of the people listening to the show, you don't care about their book reviews. But to get rid of the sports section, one of the great sports sections ever put together, people took for granted how great it was. And with one swipe of the pen, because you're losing money. I'm sure that SpaceX is losing money. but you keep it going for the greater good. But you won't keep the Washington Post alive for the greater good. Not a great day for Jeff Bezos. It's not. Not a great day for journalism in this country. It's not. Really, it's quite sickening. It's quite sickening. Let's go to Manny in Flushing. Manny.
Hey, Mike, how y'all doing? By the way, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, my friend.
Yes, listen, man, not a great day if you're a Dallas Maverick fan for the last 2 years. You let go of Luka Doncic, and then the next year, and then all of a sudden, Kyrie Irving hasn't played all year, and now Anthony Davis head to Washington to the Wizards. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, but you know what? They're in better shape. They have Cooper Flagg. They're going to get Kyrie Irving back. They got 2 first-round draft picks, players that they could probably move around. They're in better shape with this deal rather than keeping Anthony Davis around.
Yeah, it makes sense because especially of his injured history and, all that stuff. But, yeah, I would say this about the trade between Harden and Harden. They're not – I don't see the Cavaliers – I am not sold on Cleveland. I've never been sold on Cavaliers for the last few years. And I'm not so hard because we all know about his history. And I also want to bring out this. Donovan Mitchell is no superstar. He haven't got his team to the conference finals. I can't label you a superstar when you haven't got your team further in the second round. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I agree with you, and we thank you for the phone call. It's a team game. It's hard to win with just one player performing. He's a superstar. He's one of the greatest players in the NBA. I mean, I'm sure you could go up and down rosters about guys that didn't take their teams to conference finals that you would consider superstars. So, that's the only way I equate superstardom with like getting to finals would be in individual sports, like in golf or in tennis. Then it's on that person to get there. But if you're one of a team, I mean, was Don Mattingly not a superstar? His team never got to the American League Championship Series. Not a superstar? Ernie Banks never got to a World Series. Not a superstar? No, that's Manny. I don't agree. I'm sorry, I don't agree. Spike in St. Pete. Spike.
You know how much I respect you and your acumen. That Jeff Bezos. I love the ashtray reference. Do they put ashtrays in cars anymore? Anyway,
this was in his rocket. I said.
Yeah, his rocket. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Look, I love Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon. When Tony Kornheiser was at the Times and he did the TV thing now forever, that's been going on. Still a great program. It's sad. You got that newspaper, man, that gumshoe. You got it right on your shoes, my friend. And you were a great writer, and it worked out well for you. You can't value what people are like that. They're just in another category. Why keep it running? The money doesn't come into it. It's the principal, PAL, right, which is the money. So,
yep. All
right, on the trade. DeAndre Hunter, look, I think Detroit and the Cavs think the Knicks are the team to be. Just my opinion. I'm very biased. We know that. I think getting James Harden for Garland, who's always injured, is a very bad move. He'll stop playing defense after halftime. He's a great pick-and-roll guy. He shoots pretty good still. He's a horrible defender. His playoff record speaks for itself. As far as Detroit, they really missed Tim Hardaway Jr. They needed some upfront scoring. They got Saric, who's probably, I think he's from Serbia, 31 years old. Pretty good shooter from the outside, bounced around. He's a horrible defender. And who else did they pick up? They picked up another shooter. They picked up the redheaded kid from Maryland. I can't remember his name, Michael. Help me. The Pistons. A redheaded kid from Maryland. He was with Atlanta.
Herder?
Herder,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, 6'3", 6'4", a couple of 42% shooting years. He's a catch-and-shoot guy. I think Detroit thinks the Knicks are the main threat. I agree with it. I don't know what the hell Boston did. They gave up Anthony Simmons, who was putting 25 30s, had a couple of 35-point games off the bench, to get Vucevic.
Well, they're essentially replacing Porzingis and Horford with that trade. And they weren't going to re-sign Simons.
Vucevic is 16 points and 6 rebounds, and even me, almost 80 years old, may be able to get by him. He can't play a lick of defense. So I think it boils down to the Knicks playing probably Detroit in the conference finals. And the last 7 games, the defense has improved. Landry Shamet proved to be a godsend, a veteran minimum. Karl Anthony Towns seems to have adjusted to those long shots. I told you the other day, he's picked up to be closer to the basket. And you will see Mitchell Robinson on the court in the last 2 minutes if the Knicks are up by 10 points.
Right, and that's why they didn't play him yesterday, and thank you for the phone call, Spike, and that's why they'll play him today against the better team. They realized that they could have probably played the two of us and beaten the Wizards, so they did. They beat up on the Wizards, and next up, Denver tonight, so they're going to play Mitchell Robinson in this one. He doesn't play both ends of a back-to-back, and that's why I brought up at the beginning of the year, when you give this guy a new contract next year, you have to realize he's essentially a 50-game player, not 82. Maybe even a 45-game player, because these ankle problems are not going to go away. He's had 2 surgeries on it. He's always going to have to be looked after and cared for. So he's a specialist. How much do you pay a specialist? That's what the Knicks have to decide, and that's what any other team that wants to make a bid for him, they're going to have to decide as well. When we come back, Mike Lupica joins us on his weekly spot here on the show, The K Show, writing until 3, right here on ESPN New York.
Wednesday with Don Hahn and Rosenberg. Can the Knicks make it 8 in a row when they host the Nuggets?
Just everybody be on the same page, being together, being on one string and stepping up for each other. It's great to see.
How far can this team go this season if they keep this roster? Don Hahn and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Amber and Ian. That's code Amber and Ian to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Benjamin Franklin, sir, I've just received news.
Speak.
They're multiplying you.
Multiplying me?
Yes, many times.
Multiple Benjamins?
Shall I stop it?
No.
Multiply your Benjamins with New York Lottery's Extra Multiplier Scratch-Off games. Play for the chance to multiply your winnings up to 100 times. Prizes up to $3 million.
I've won! I've multiplied myself!
We won!
Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
See, I'm not firmly convinced Eli Manning's going to get the Hall of Fame. My favorite argument against him, which is amazing, is outside of the durability, the magical playoff run. The second magical playoff run is just a 500 quarterback. Well, do you think Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer if he retired after 10 seasons? He was way above 500. So the fact that he was durable and continued to play on a bad football team, now you're going to punish him for that?
DiPietro and Rothenberg, morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877 for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877 for Kids.
1-877 for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
This is Bart and Carlin on ESPN New York.
Frank Reich has been hired as offensive coordinator for the New York Jets. To me, this is about as good of a situation as you could have come out of it with.
I would say that the Frank Reich is just as good or a better hire than Matt Nagy because of the history of Frank Reich developing and winning with quarterbacks that aren't Patrick Mahomes.
Bart Scott, Chris Carlin, weekdays at 10 a.m. on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Surprise! Your expenses this month were way higher than you expected. Also, you forgot to renew your website domain, and now you're in a bidding war.
You should see the look on your face.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room, and now everything smells weird.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Access to education changes lives. That's why National University provides flexible online and hybrid programs from associate to doctorate degrees. Since 1971, NU was built to serve non-traditional working and military learners nationwide. NU understands the demands of work, family, and service. Each year, more than 130,000 learners trust National University to move forward. Visit nu.edu to learn more.
Welcome back to the show. Now, every Wednesday at this time, we get a chance to talk to Mike Lupica, and I always talk about best-selling author, and you can read him on MLB.com. But Mike is a newspaper man. That's where he started. That's his love. You know, the old cliche, ink in his veins. I look at myself the same way. So I'm not happy that I get a chance to talk to Mike about this, but he could certainly lend some perspective. First off, hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Michael, how are you?
I'm doing okay, and I'm doing better than the people at the Washington Post. What are your thoughts about a great paper like this just essentially going away as we know it?
Michael, I've known a lot of rich mutts in my life. But Jeff Bezos, I don't know him, but he's one of the richest mutts that I know about for destroying an iconic American paper the way he is in broad daylight. I said to my son, Alex today, who produces Jen Psaki's show, apparently he has to lay off all these people just in case on his next wedding he wants to spend more money than he did on this one, which I think cost $50 million. So whenever there's Mrs. Bezos, I think number 3, he might have to cut back to like $25 million and find another venue other than Venice next time. No, this is horrible. It's listen, we've seen the business shrinking. I am proud to still be in this business. I am proud to still be working for the people that I work for at the Daily News. Is the Daily News what it was when I started, where we were selling 1.4 million a day? No, it's not. But it's still it is still a voice. I still have a voice in it. And I just think about all the people that I have known. Carl Bernstein is my friend. I know Woodward a little bit, okay? What are they thinking today? Sally Jenkins got out just in time to go to the Atlantic. On and on. The late John Feinstein, Tony Kornheiser, Mike Wilbon, on and on and on and on. This is a dark day, but it goes back to a mutt like Bezos, whose main career now, got rich with overnight delivery, whose main career now is genuflecting in front of the government of the United States. No, it's awful.
Here's what I don't get. I mean, there are people that obviously don't like Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch is not nearly as wealthy as Jeff Bezos. And he has lost money at the New York Post for a long time, and he kept it running. And he just started the California Post. How much money could Jeff Bezos be losing, Mike, that it would affect his bottom line? He's practically a trillionaire, and he's not even saying anything. He's allowing other people to say stuff. It really is distressing and, quite frankly, sickening.
No, not only is he a mutt, he's a coward. Okay. And by the way, just let's see, the next brand that he will ruin will be the James Bond movie franchise, because he now owns the rights to James Bond. And the story in Hollywood is that he wants his wife to be a Bond girl. okay, I'll be a Bond girl before Mrs. Bezos will be. And so it's, Mike, it's never enough. That's the thing. Bezos is just another rich guy who would throw out his back if he saw a $20 bill on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I think you said it well. It's a dark day, not only for journalism, for this country, because journalism is supposed to keep everybody in check, and now you've just completely eradicated the Washington Post. And to say that he pretty much got rid of the sports section, and he said the editor said they're going to cover sports as a cultural phenomenon. Well, what does that mean? A cultural phenomenon?
It means nothing. It's another word salad. Okay, you could stump Jeff Bezos on any significant question about the history of the Washington Post. Okay, Michael, one of my heroes and a guy who became a friend of mine was Ben Bradley. Okay, this is the paper that stood up to Nixon. Do you think Bezos's paper is going to stand up against the current administration? They're not. He is a coward. In the place of the dear old Louis Carnesecca used to call Macy's window for everybody to see. It's a shameful. I thought when he bought it, I said, okay, now they got some money behind it. But again, Michael, no amount of money is ever enough for guys like this.
Well, I always say that the richest people are the ones that don't want to pay taxes. So, I mean, every dime means something to them. So for something serious, let's go back to the toy store. If you were the Knicks, Mike.
Oh, wait, Michael,
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
I mean, it's a dark day for us because I have to cuff around one of my favorite people at ESPN, Michael Greenberg. One of my favorite people. Oh, yeah.
Greenberg?
He had a
What did
segment
Mike
today.
do?
Oh, no, he's going to the penalty box. You've got to talk me out of putting him in my Sunday column. Michael, I was in my car today listening to, what's the name of his show? Get Up.
Get Up.
Get Up. And I'm listening, and they're doing a segment, and the jumping off point, literally, is Lindsey Vonn and how she says she's going to ski on a torn ACL at the Milan Cortina Olympics, okay? So they make a list of the most courageous performances in sports history. You know what he leads off with? Michael Jordan's flu game. Michael Jordan's flu game. Okay, okay. And I love Michael Jordan. I've known Michael Jordan longer than Greenberg has, okay? You know who doesn't make the cut, Mike?
Who?
With a New Yorker like Michael Greenberg? Willis Reed.
So
Willis Reed
he's on the
didn't
list
make
right
cut.
now. He's on the list.
The wave of the hand list. And then, but you know who did make it?
Who?
Kerry Strug for letting that jump that time, okay? And they were a little dismissive, and I was there that night, of Kirk Gibson walking out against the greatest relief pitcher on the planet at that time on one leg and hitting one of the most famous home runs in the history of baseball. Oh, no. Greeny's in a world of trouble. And Michael, he'll find out about this because, well, why? Because it's about him. So he's going to find out about it. And I'm very disappointed. My friend Mike Greenberg, who I knew from the time I was on the Sports Reporters, Willis Reed, didn't make the cut.
So what is going to be the deciding factor whether or not he gets slapped around in the lip on Sunday?
Well, you know what, Michael? I could forget by Friday. That's. I have to say, the longer I've done this column, and I'm shooting for the lip. Oh my God, I can't remember when my old sports editor Bob Decker came up with the idea of it. But if sometimes if I don't write them down, I forget them by Friday afternoon when I sit down to write the column.
Well, I'll tell you this, Mike. I like Mike Greenberg a lot, but I'll remind you on Thursday.
Yeah,
I'll call up and remind you. I'll be your reminder.
Yeah, because now, well, I mean, you were already my favorite person at ESPN. I mean, you're right. You're right up there. You're up there with my old radio producer Peter Chacon. You're up there, okay? But Mike was up there too, and that's why this is this is such a sad, dark day. So it's only tomorrow. So I should be able to retain this until Friday, right?
You should, but we're all getting up there in age. I mean, you can't guarantee anything.
Okay, listen, I don't mean to hijack your conversation.
No,
with me.
no,
Now,
no.
listen,
That was much better than what I was going to. I wanted to ask you.
Okay, I'm sure. No, wait, I'm not done yet.
Oh,
I'm not done
please.
yet.
Yeah.
No, welcome to my show. Okay, Michael, have you yet seen Miracle, the Boys of 80?
No, I have not, but I plan to tonight.
Oh, my God, Mike, it's sensational. And I know that Lake Placid happened a long time ago. I know that, many people don't feel about it the way I do because I was there for every game and every moment. My son Zach sent me the column I wrote the night they beat the Soviets, and you've got to see this. It's a bunch of stuff you've never seen before. They bring a bunch of the guys back to Lake Placid, Mike. It starts with them walking down Main Street, now in their 60s, like the Magnificent Seven. I don't know how many of them there were, and it is fabulous. Al Michaels in it a lot. It captures a moment of time. There was an original documentary, and then Miracle, which is one of my favorite movies, as good a sports movie as has ever been made. Okay, and this stuff, you've got to see it because it will take you back, and you don't even have to have been alive then to appreciate that this, to me, was the greatest team story in the history of sports. And Mike, I'll just tell you one moment that I hadn't seen since the post-game press conference when they finally beat Finland to win the gold medal. And Jackie O'Callahan, who was one of the stars of the team, he had to go to drug testing that day, and he was having some difficulties, so he had more than a few beers by the time he got with us. And he got to the press conference, and he said, "I'm from Charlestown, Massachusetts," and he said, "We won at Bunker Hill, and we won here." And you can hear my buddy David Israel say, "Jackie, we didn't win at Bunker Hill." And O'Callahan looked at me and says, "I don't want to hear that."
But here's the big question, Mike. Was that win bigger than the flu game?
Yeah. See, Michael. Now you're trying to gin this up. And by the way, you're doing a good. See,
I like to bring it all back, Mike. I like to bring it back.
No, but Mike, I had already moved on from the flu game. I'd already moved on, and now the pain is fresh again.
I don't want you to forget.
But I'm telling you, you will. You're my friend. You will watch this at some point. And you could tell Charlie about it, okay? Because my kids loved this story from the time they were, young kids, because they knew how important it had been to me to see it in person. And even Al on this thing said, people always ask me all the time, what could ever match this? And he says nothing.
Now, I'm curious, when you were covering that Olympics, no one thought the U.S. would win. Did you have to run there when you heard that they were beating the Russians, or were you there from the beginning?
Oh, no, Mike, I saw every minute of every game. I saw the Sweden game. They had to get a tie. Actually, I think it was the night before the opening ceremonies. They would have been out of business in their first game if Billy Baker didn't score a goal with seconds left to tie Sweden. And then we listen, it was a very lovable group, okay? And so we were all quite taken with them. And it wasn't until they beat, I think in their third game, Czechoslovakia was supposed to be one of the best teams in the world. And they beat them like 7-3. And now you're thinking, okay, well, maybe we got a chance. And then that night they score right before the end of the first period. Mark Johnson scores with 1 second left and turns a 2-1 game into 2-2. And it was the beginning of the greatest story ever told until Michael Eruzione, who I know to this day, scored with exactly 10 minutes left to make it 4-3. And, Mike, I think I've told you this before. In memory, those 10 minutes took 10 years off of my life sitting in that arena that night because you still can't process that this thing is about to happen. And it's 46 years ago. And, Michael, I'll tell you, it's as fresh as it's ever been, and then it was just enhanced by this documentary. You got to watch it.
I promise I will. Now, before I do let you go, if you were the Knicks, would you break things up to get Giannis?
No. No, you have invested literally years into the making of this team, okay? And you know how I feel about Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is not going to be the reason that the Knicks win the championship or lose championship this year, okay? You have seen the possibilities, and, it's the old thing in sports. You're never as good as you look when you're winning, never as bad as you look when you're losing, okay? So they had that horrible stretch, and now they've won these games in a row. They have another tough stretch coming out of the All-Star break, okay? But I think Knicks fans, Michael, I think they like this team. I think they like this team a lot. Is it flawed? Yes. Did it take them way too long to start playing defense? Yes. But all of the pieces are there, and I think the Giannis thing to me, and listen, if he comes, and we'll all be happy that we're getting to watch him play, okay? But this is the savior guy that they have been chasing. Oh my God, Mike, we did since the days when I came along and they were talking about bringing Wilt Chamberlain out of retirement. It's the LeBron thing. It's this. I think sometimes you got to say, this is my team. And again, Michael, they thought they had a team good enough to win the championship when they fired their coach who took them to the Eastern Conference Finals. So what has changed their thinking in the months since? The one really bad stretch. I think your team is your team, and you don't look for a do-over on Thursday afternoon.
Let me put a complete bow on this. Who do you dislike more today, Jeff Bezos or Mike Greenberg?
Oh, Jeff Bezos. Mike Greenberg's a good person. Mike Greenberg is a good person who made a tragic mistake today. And the real tragedy is he made it on a day when I happened to hear it. So, that's the problem.
That is a huge problem, and it's going to manifest itself on Sunday. Can't wait to read it. Thanks, Mike.
Can't wait to talk to you tomorrow so you can remind me, Michael. Thank you.
You got it. Be good.
Okay.
That is Mike Lupica, the New York Daily News and best-selling author, and you could read him on MLB.com. We'll finish it up with phone calls, but first, last call for football. And all week long, FanDuel is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Today's 30% profit boost is on the receiving markets. Receiving yards over-under, alt receiving yards, and most receiving yards. Will Seattle continue to get JSN the ball? Can Stephon Diggs find room to work? All you have to do is opt in each day and place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
More people trust their hearts to New York Presbyterian than any other hospital in New York. It's because New York Presbyterian has the most experienced cardiovascular doctors, treating a full range of heart conditions, from heart failure to valve repair, with the most advanced treatments. Find a doctor at nyp.org/heart. New York Presbyterian. New York Presbyterian Hospital, based on U.S. News & World Report 2025 to 2026 cardiology, heart, and vascular surgery rankings.
Knicks fans, it's time for basketball. The action starts tonight at Pig Beach with Team ESPN New York and Ultra. Whether you need a pregame spot or you're looking for the right Knicks bar to watch the game versus the Nuggets, Pig Beach is your destination. The party tips off at 7 p.m. Team ESPN will be giving away plenty of ESPN, Ultra, and Knicks prizes. Join fellow Knicks fans tonight at 3537 36th Street, ground floor in Astoria. Cheer on your Knicks, enjoy Ultra draft and bottle specials, and cool prizes all game long at Pig Beach in Astoria.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Empower. After wanting one for years, Kevin is finally enjoying his new hot tub.
This is the life.
He worked with Empower to help him get good at money, so now he could be a little bad.
Oh, no, not my phone.
Oh, Kevin. Kevin's phone may be in hot water, but his finances aren't. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
NBA fans don't just watch the game, they live it. So stream like you're courtside with NBA League Pass, your ticket to all the action. Watch your favorite team shine and catch the league's brightest stars and rising stars at the same time with multi-view on your favorite devices. From the plays you can't believe to the most live games and the drama that comes with it. If it happens on the court, it's happening on NBA League Pass.
Only select out-of-market games available. Blackout restrictions apply. Additional charges and other conditions may apply. Visit NBA.com/subscriber agreement for full terms and conditions.
Welcome back to the show. Coming up, Don Hahn and Rosenberg. Looking forward to hearing from Alan Hahn about the Anthony Davis trade, the trade of James Harden. The trade deadline's tomorrow, so it's been a pretty interesting couple of days leading into it. So teams going for it. You know, Detroit's making moves, and Cleveland's made moves. Boston made moves. I like the move Boston made more than Spike did, because I think they were lacking somebody in the middle, so they got that done. They were not going to sign Anthony Simons. It's almost curious why Chicago wanted him, because they kind of have a player like him in Kobe White, who's also going to be a free agent, so we'll see how they go with that. 1-800-919-3776. We'll be all over it, by the way, tomorrow as we lead into the deadline. Let's talk, everybody. I've cleared the lines for you. 1-800-919-3776. We'll start with Ralph in Brooklyn. Ralph.
Hey, how are you, Mike?
I'm good, Ralph. How you doing?
I'm on my cell phone. I'm not in the car, so I can't hear you anymore on the radio. But we spoke right before the trade deadline, and we were talking about when Cashman extended the qualifying order to Grisham, and he accepted it. And you and I said, let's not judge him. Let's wait till after the trade deadline and see what happens. So post-trade deadline, we signed Bellinger. The issue, what I always had, was the fact that Cashman, holds on to his young talent way past their tradable value. So now we signed Grisham and we signed Bellinger. What are we doing with Spencer Jones? We're finding at backs for Dominguez, and now I hear we might sign Paul Goldschmidt again. Isn't that like just,
See, but I'm going to tell you, Rob, there are a couple of things to talk about here, and I thank you for the call. Number one, you're listening, you're talking on the phone, then you can listen to the radio. All you have to do is get the ESPN New York app, you click on, and you listen. It's like you're holding a radio in your hand. Second of all, why is it so shocking that they would sign Goldschmidt as a bench piece? For 1 year at a low price, I'm totally in agreement with that if they did it. The only problem is he just plays first or DHs. So they're probably looking for somebody that's a little more versatile. They would probably go for that first. Would they bring back an Austin Slater or Randall Grichuk, somebody like that? But as for Jason Dominguez, he's got options left. So if he doesn't make the team out of spring training, he goes down to AAA. And Spencer Jones gets more of a run at AAA And if anybody gets hurt or anybody underperforms, you bring them up. It's funny. Yankee fans don't know what they want. So Ralph wants, a runway for Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones. Well, if they gave them that runway and there was growing pains with that runway, you know what? You'd all freak out because they wouldn't be winning as much as you want them to, and you'd want them to bring in veterans, which is what every Yankee fan who calls into the show during the winners, why can't they sign this guy? Why can't they sign that? All veterans. That's what you want. Do you really want to see a team put a lot of young players in and have growing pains and maybe not make the playoffs? No, you don't. I'll answer for you. You do not. So that's a decision and an argument you have to have with yourself. So the Yankees look at it. What's our best chance to win in 2026? Let's see. It's Grisham in center and Bellinger in left. It's not Dominguez in left. It's the way they're looking at it. Doesn't mean they give up on Dominguez. And one other thing, he holds on to prospects too long. But if he traded prospects that turned out to be great, you'd jump them. So he's holding on to prospects too long because he doesn't want to give a prospect that's going to turn out to really haunt him. And look around the major leagues at all the young talent that the Yankees have traded. Who's really come back and haunted the Yankees? Can't say that many. Now, you might say, well, wouldn't they like to have a right-handed hitter like Carlos Narvaez right now? Yeah, they would. But maybe when you see Elmer Cruz come up, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, you might say, oh, that was a pretty good deal. You have to let these things breathe. You really do. And you also have to decide what you really want. Do you want to see all the young baby bombers come up and struggle and maybe they win 81 games and don't make the playoffs? Or would you rather have a team with veterans that wins 90 games and makes the playoffs? It's beyond me what the majority of the fan base wants. I know what the vocal part of the fan base likes, but I wonder what the majority likes. I think I'd rather have a team that competes, even if it's older. Everybody wants to see the young guy do well. I get it. I understand. But there is growing pains with that young guy. There's growing pains going on with Anthony Volpe. You guys want no part of it. No part of it. Now, you can say, well, it's 3 years of growing pain, but you want them to give up on him on 3 years. And they still think there's something there. Let's see. And while they're seeing that something's there, they made the World Series, and they won 94 games last year while they were still figuring out if something's there. So I guess there is a method to their madness. Mike told you about the documentary on the 1980 hockey team. I'm going to tell you something a little lighter fare. So there's a comedian, Bert Kreischer, the guy who takes his shirt off all the time. He has a 6-episode sitcom called Free Bert. It's on Netflix. It's coarse. It might be a little bit too much for the pure mind, but it is really, really funny. I could not watch those 6 episodes quick enough. And I like Bert Kreischer, but I wouldn't say I'm a Bert Kreischer fan the way I am Bill Burr or Jerry Seinfeld or that like. But this stuff is hilarious. It is a really funny premise, a really funny show. So if you get a chance, check out Free Bert on Netflix. Also check out Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg right here on ESPN New York. And in the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a great afternoon, and we will talk to you tomorrow at 1.
Wednesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Can the Knicks make it 8 in a row when they host the Nuggets?
Just everybody being on the same page, being together, being on one string and stepping up for each other. It's great to see.
How far can this team go this season if they keep this roster? Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3.